The alarm clock is a modern invention, but the battle it signifies is ancient. It is the first skirmish in the daily war for your soul. That soft, insistent sound does not merely mark the transition from sleep to wakefulness. It is a summons to a choice. Will you rise to meet the day, or will you retreat into the warm, seductive fog of dreams? Most days, if we are honest, we retreat. We hit the snooze button. We negotiate with the morning. We bargain for 5 more minutes, then 10, until the luxury of repose becomes the panic of haste. We lose the day in its first moments, not because we are lazy, but because we are unarmed for the quiet confrontation that dawn demands. This is not a lecture on productivity. This is an exploration of sovereignty. It is about the quiet, often overlooked art of ruling the one kingdom you will ever truly command, the territory of your own mind. The world outside is loud, chaotic, and largely indifferent to your plans. It will throw storms at your borders and seditions within your walls. But the citadel of the self, if properly fortified, can remain unshaken. This is the heart of the Stoic vision. It is not, as it is sometimes misunderstood, a philosophy of grim endurance, of clenching your jaw and bearing the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. It is a philosophy of profound, unassailable, inner freedom. It is the realization that while you cannot control the events that befall you, you hold absolute authority over your judgment of those events, your response to them, and the meaning you assign to them. This is the ultimate power, and it is a power that no external force can ever strip from you, save by your own surrender. Our journey over these next words is to map this inner kingdom. We will walk its walls, inspect its foundations, and learn the arts of its governance. We will move from the chaos of reaction to the clarity of response, from being a slave to your impulses to becoming the master of your actions. This is not a path of adding more tasks, more goals, more frantic activity. It is a path of subtraction. It is about stripping away the non-essential, the distracting, the illusory, until all that remains is the core of you, resilient, purposeful, and free. Let us begin at the beginning, with the most misunderstood of all human faculties, attention. We live in an economy of distraction. Our attention is the most valuable commodity in the world, and it is under constant siege. Every notification, every advertisement, every headline, every social media feed is engineered to capture it, to hold it hostage, and to monetize it. We have become so accustomed to this bombardment that we mistake the noise for the signal. We fill every spare moment, every quiet interlude with input. We scroll while we wait, we listen while we walk, we watch while we eat. We have developed a deep, almost pathological fear of silence. But silence is not empty. It is the fertile ground from which all meaningful action grows. It is in silence that we hear the whisper of our own conscience, the stirring of our intuition, the quiet voice of reason. When we constantly drown out this silence with external noise, we are effectively exiling ourselves from our own inner counsel. We are outsourcing our thinking, our values, and our sense of direction to algorithms designed to keep us engaged, not enlightened. The Stoics called the faculty of our judgment and will the prohairesis. It is your capacity to choose, to assent, or to dissent, to say, this is good or this is bad. It is, in essence, the steering wheel of your soul. Every time you willingly surrender your attention to something trivial, every time you react with anger to a provocation without pausing to consider its true worth, every time you allow your mood to be dictated by the weather or the traffic or the opinion of a stranger, you are handing your steering wheel to a passing child. You are abdicating your sovereignty. The first and most fundamental discipline of the inner life, therefore, is the guardianship of your attention. This is not about willpower in the brute sense. It is about wisdom. It is about recognizing that your attention is your life. Where you place it is what you become. If you place it on the trivial, you become trivial. If you place it on the angry, you become anger. If you place it on the wise, you become wisdom. Practice this today. Start small. When you feel the urge to pull out your phone in a moment of boredom, pause. Just for 10 seconds. Breathe. Look at the world around you. Observe the play of light, the faces of people, the sensation of your own breath. In that tiny act of resistance, you are performing a rep in the gym of your soul. You are strengthening your proheresis. You are reminding yourself that you are the one who chooses where to look. When someone says something that irritates you, do not let the first hot impulse leap from your mouth. Create a space, a single breath. In that space, you will find a power you did not know you had, the power to not react, the power to respond from a place of choice. This is not repression. It is liberation. You are no longer a puppet whose strings are pulled by every external event. You are the puppeteer. This guardianship extends to the stories you tell yourself. The narrative running in your head is the most powerful shaper of your reality. My boss is unfair. I am not good enough. This situation is a disaster. These are not facts. They are judgments. They are interpretations. Your proheresis has the power to examine these judgments, to question them, and, if necessary, to revise them. Is your boss truly unfair, or is he under immense pressure and acting out of stress? Are you not good enough, or are you simply on a learning curve, as every human being who has ever attempted anything worthwhile has been? Is the situation a disaster, or is it merely a difficult set of circumstances that now requires your clear-headed attention? By taking custody of your inner narrative, you stop being a victim of the story and become its author. This is the essence of resilience. The resilient person is not the one who never gets knocked down. It is the one who, when knocked down, chooses the story they will tell about the fall. Will it be a story of defeat or a story of a lesson learned? The event is the same. The suffering is entirely different. This inner fortitude, this citadel of the mind, must be built on a foundation of clear principles. For the Stoics, this foundation was virtue, or arete. This word, often translated as excellence, means living in accordance with your highest nature, which is rational and social. It is the expression of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance in the daily affairs of life. Virtue is not a vague ideal. It is a practical guide for action. It answers the question, what is the right thing to do right now? Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the judgment that something else is more important than fear. It is the courage to speak a difficult truth, to start a new venture, to defend someone who is vulnerable, to admit you were wrong. It manifests in the small moments, the courage to decline an invitation when you are tired, the courage to end a toxic relationship, the courage to be the only voice of dissent in a room full of agreement. Justice is not an abstract concept for politicians and judges. It is your default setting in every interaction. It is giving people their due, treating them with fairness and respect, regardless of their station. It is the cashier, the CEO, the stranger on the street. It is doing your work with integrity, not because someone is watching, but because it is the right way to do it. It is the quiet honor that needs no audience. Temperance is not self-punishment. It is self-possession. It is the mastery of your appetites and impulses. It is the choice to eat what nourishes you, not just what tempts you. It is the discipline to walk away from a pointless argument, to turn off the screen and go to sleep, to save your money for something meaningful rather than spend it on a fleeting desire. It is the power to say enough. Wisdom is the virtue that guides the others. It is the ability to see the world clearly, to discern what is within your control and what is not, to understand the true nature of things. It is the wisdom to know that your possessions can be taken, your reputation can be sullied, your body can fail. But your character, your prohairesis, is yours to keep. If you guard it well, living by virtue is its own reward. The successful outcome, the promotion, the praise, the victory, is a preferred indifferent. It is nice to have, but it is not the source of your worth. The source of your worth is the integrity of your effort. Did you act with courage? Did you act with justice? Did you act with temperance and wisdom? If you can answer yes, then you have succeeded regardless of the external result. This is the unshakable ground. This is the freedom that no market crash, no critical comment, no failed project can ever take from you. This philosophical framework prepares us for the inevitable, adversity. Life will present you with obstacles. You will face loss, rejection, failure, and pain. The common instinct is to see these as interruptions to our happiness, as deviations from the plan. We rage against them, we complain, we ask, "Why me?" This resistance is the source of most of our suffering. The pain of a broken bone is one thing. The agony of shouting, "This shouldn't have happened," for weeks on end is another, far more debilitating kind of pain. The Stoic response to adversity is one of its most powerful and misunderstood tenets, amor fati, a love of fate. This does not mean you must enjoy the pain or pretend that a tragedy is a blessing. It means you accept reality fully and completely as the field upon which you must now play the game. You cannot change the fact that the storm has come. You can only decide how you will sail your ship. Amor fati is the ultimate act of sovereignty. It is the refusal to be at war with reality. It is looking at the broken leg, the lost job, the failed project, and saying, "This is my material now. This is the block of marble I have been given. What will I carve from it?" Within every obstacle is an opportunity. The obstacle becomes the way. The setback forces you to develop a skill you neglected. The failure teaches you a truth you needed to learn. The loss deepens your capacity for compassion. The difficult person teaches you patience. The illness teaches you what is truly important. The practice of amor fati transforms you from a passive victim of circumstance into an active, creative agent in your own life. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What does this make possible? What can I do with this?" This is not naive optimism. It is pragmatic resilience. It is the mindset of a craftsman who, given a piece of warped wood, does not despair, but studies the grain to see what beautiful, unique shape it can become. This applies to the past as well. Regret is a form of resistance to what has already happened. It is a futile war against time itself. Amor fati means accepting your past, all of it, the mistakes, the embarrassments, the poor choices, as an essential part of your story. Those events carved you. They taught you. To wish them away is to wish yourself away. Forgive your former self. They were doing the best they could with the knowledge and resources they had at the time. Your past is not a life sentence. It is your training manual. All of this inner work, the guardianship of attention, the cultivation of virtue, the love of fate, must ultimately be expressed in action. Philosophy that remains in the realm of thought is mere intellectual decoration. It must be lived. The world is your gymnasium, and every day presents a new set of weights to lift. Your practice is in the mundane. It is in how you handle the frustrating customer, how you speak to your children when you're tired, how you perform a task that no one will ever see. It is in keeping a promise to yourself, like going for that run in the rain. It is in choosing the salad over the cake, not as a punishment, but as an act of respect for the body that carries you through life. It is in doing your work with care, even when you feel uninspired. This is where character is built, in 10,000 small invisible choices. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, integrity over convenience, courage over comfort, you are casting a vote for the person you are becoming. These votes add up. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, they compound. The person who once struggled to get out of bed now does it without thought. The person who was quick to anger now finds a space of calm where a choice resides. The person who was defined by external validation now draws water from their own well. This is the great and quiet transformation. It does not happen overnight. It is the slow, steady work of a gardener, not the dramatic blast of a demolition crew. There will be days you fail. You will lose your temper. You will succumb to laziness. You will feel like a fraud. This is part of the process. The Stoic sage is an ideal, a compass pointing true north, not a destination you are expected to reach. The goal is not to be perfect, but to be better than you were yesterday, to make more right choices than wrong ones, to win the internal battle more often than you lose it. Be kind to yourself in the process. Self-flagellation is just another form of ego. When you fail, simply note the error, learn from it, and recommit. No drama, no endless self-recrimination. Just a quiet course correction, like a sailor constantly adjusting the tiller. And as you walk this path, you will find that your relationship with time itself begins to change. The frantic fear of wasting time dissipates. It is replaced by a serene and purposeful use of your moments. You understand that time is the raw material of life, and you are the craftsman. You stop killing time and start honoring it. You begin to see that a life well lived is not necessarily one filled with dramatic achievements, but one filled with purpose, integrity, and moments of quiet contentment. It is a life where, at the end of each day, you can look back and see that your actions, however small, were aligned with your principles. This is the promise of this ancient philosophy. Not a life of ease, but a life of strength. Not a life free from pain, but a life where pain does not have the final word. Not a life of control over the world, but a life of supreme command over the one thing that has always been and will always be yours, your inner world. So, tomorrow, when the alarm sounds, hear it not as a demand, but as an invitation to practice, to choose once again who you will be, to rise not with grim determination, but with the quiet confidence of a sovereign returning to their throne. The day will bring what it brings. Storms may come and fortunes may rise and fall, but within you the citadel will stand, and from its walls you will look out upon the world, not as a victim of its chaos, but as the calm, clear-eyed master of your own destiny.